The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to episode 4 of the SCU Show. I'm your host, SCU. I know we are late tonight, but that's okay. We're still got a show going. And we got a pretty good show today. So since we're late, since we only got an hour and a half now to do the show, we're going to jump right into it. Kevin Durant. Grade 2 MCL sprain. He could be out for the rest of the year, but he could be back for the playoffs. Nobody knows yet. But this is. I just find this absolutely ridiculous that people are just keep saying, "Oh my God, the Warriors are not winning the title without Kevin Durant." Wait a minute, hold on. Pause. 2015, Golden State Warriors won a title in 6 games over LeBron James. No Kevin Durant. Last year. And I know my former co-host Eric Watkins will not let me live this down. Warriors had a 3-1 series lead. Game 5 at home. They were a game away from winning the title last year, being back-to-back champs. No Kevin Durant. So what I don't understand here is what makes this different? What makes this year any different than the last 2 years? Nothing. Yeah, they don't have Jay Iguodala anymore. But he wasn't a big factor in either year. And then there's the whole thing with how everybody wants to say that the Cavs are this big, that they're going to win, like, easy. They can beat the Warriors easily in the finals. I'm just like, no, they're not. They barely beat them in the 2015-16 finals. They lost to them in the 2014-15 NBA finals. So I don't see the Warriors losing this time around to the Cavs. Forget Kevin Durant. The Cavs are not going to win this title. Someone make the case that they have Kyle Korver, they have Durant Williams, they have Andrew Bogut. They had Andrew Bogut. Look at that. It was like Kyle Korver was a great player for the Hawks. He hasn't done much now. Durant Williams hasn't done much. Andrew Bogut was at the Warriors. He wasn't a big factor there. And obviously now he won't be a big factor for the Cavs. He broke his leg 58 seconds into his debut. Now, if that's not bad luck for Cleveland, I don't know what is. And then you go past who each team has. The Warriors still have Curry. They have Klay Thompson, they have Draymond Green, and Steve Kerr is still their coach. Great. There's a powerhouse team right there. If it's probably the best team in the NBA right now is the Warriors. And they just keep proving that. Despite their earlier struggles, they're showing that they are a championship team. Cleveland's going to the finals, but it's not going to be easy. Look who they have to face. Boston. They've struggled against Boston and Isaiah Thomas and Al Horford. They've struggled against them. In their last game, they couldn't pull it off. Then there's the Wizards. Wizards have the best record in the Eastern Conference since January 1st. Even after the All-Star break, the Warriors are still a dominant team. They're still dominating the league. They are 21-8 since January 1st, the best in the Eastern Conference. Last time they played, it wasn't for LeBron James' three, a three that he just threw up there and bounced off the backboard and hit the net. The Wizards would have bested the Cavs. If you don't think Boston and Washington would not beat Cleveland or give Cleveland the hardest competition they have faced this year in the playoffs, you got nothing coming. So you look at that. I almost forgot about this. The Heat Just imagine the Cavs having to play the Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals. We thought that was going. I remember me and a couple of former colleagues thought that was going to happen last year. Heat Cavs NBA Finals. Obviously, that didn't happen because the Heat went from the 7th seed to the 10th seed in a major collapse. Now this team, they are on fire since I don't even know when. A few months. It's been a few months. They're 17-4 in their last 21. They are the first team to beat the defending champions back-to-back games in 10 years. They beat the Cavs back-to-back times this year. First time a team has beaten a defending champion back-to-back in 10 years. Now, if you don't think Miami's going to give for money, you definitely have another coming. There's no big competition in the East to Cleveland than Miami. Now, don't get me wrong. Boston can give the competition. Washington can give the competition. Either way, when they get to the finals, LeBron's going to be very exhausted because he's going to have to once again carry this team into June. Once again, third year in a row, carrying this team into June. Kyrie Irving's going to be tired. Kevin Love's not even coming back. I doubt he'll come back this year. So Cleveland is in a lot of trouble right now. They are in a lot of trouble. Then you look at Golden State. There's no competition in the West. Things have turned around in the NBA. Past 2 seasons, it's been Cleveland and the rest of the East, and then the Warriors have the Spurs and the Rockets and this and that. Now it's just the Warriors and everybody else in the West. The Spurs are quietly struggling, despite a good win last night against Houston. By the way, Kawhi Leonard is not an MVP talk. He should not be an MVP talk. So I don't know where that's coming from. Houston, the team that lost to San Antonio last night. Houston's not going. They're not going to the finals with just James Harden leading them. It's not happening. And as good as Oklahoma City is with Russell Westbrook, all Oklahoma City is Russell Westbrook. There's nobody else on the team besides Russell Westbrook. And that reminds me of something else that I want to go back to my first point with Kevin Durant not being a factor at all. Let's go back to 2015, February of 2015. Kevin Durant broke his foot. His season's over. So then everyone said, "Oh, the season's over. No Kevin Durant. Oh my God." What did Russell Westbrook do? All he did was record triple doubles for an entire 2 months. And I said this before on a former podcast. If the Pelicans hadn't beat the Spurs, the Thunder would have been in the playoffs in 2015 without Kevin Durant. So enough of this, oh, Kevin Durant is so valuable. No, he's not. Any team can win without Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant can't win without a team. Which is why he left for Golden State. He wanted a team. He knew he's not a great leader. And I said this on the first episode of the SCU Show. Kevin Durant is weak. He can't win a title by himself. That's why he left for Golden State. I'm not saying it's karma that he sprained his MCL. At about the same time he broke his foot in 2015. But good God. This whole thing about Kevin Durant being so valuable to the Warriors is insane. I don't know where this is coming from. None of it just doesn't make sense. It just does not make sense to me. I do not see Golden State losing to the Cavs, especially with their playoff runs. Here's a good comparison. Cleveland, when they get there for the next 2 months, Cleveland is drinking Monster. They're going to be tired. They're going to be full of energy. And then they get to April, and they're going to crash. They're going to start crashing, I should start with. They're going to start crashing. Warriors, on the other hand, they're drinking the fire of energy. They're going to stay up. And they're going to continue to stay up through April, through May, into June, headed toward their second Larry O'Brien trophy in 3 years. I almost said Vince Lombardi. They're headed to their second Larry O'Brien trophy in 3 years. And Kevin Durant, and once again, the Warriors are going to win their second Larry O'Brien trophy in 3 years. Well, what do you know? Without Kevin Durant. Would you look at that? It's good to have you in. I hope you're enjoying the show so far. Hour and a half show this week. We'll hopefully be back next week, a 2-hour show. Warren Shaw, founder of ShawSports.net, contributor to 16 Wins a Ring. Now that is one interesting sight. I'm not a basketball guy, but good God, 16 Wins a Ring has something going for them. I could just see it. You just see it. That's going to be a great sight. Warren Shaw joins us at 8 o'clock. About 17 minutes from now. We are loaded today. We have a great show for the next hour and a half. This is going to be great. I feel great. Much better than I did last week. So glad it's turned out. This has started to be a better show than last week. And when I get the live link, I'll get it out to the rest of you so you can listen to this greatness tonight. But Warren Shaw joins us in about 17 minutes. I'll ask him how he feels about all this, because I just find it ridiculous. Kevin Durant is not valuable to any team. I'm not saying Kevin Durant's not a great player. Kevin Durant he is a great player. I can't deny that. But he's not valuable. And that's another thing that I want to talk about. Everyone keeps saying Russell Westbrook does not belong in the MVP race. I don't believe that. I believe that people don't know what MVP really stands for. Most valuable player. If it wasn't for Russell Westbrook on the Thunder, they'd be sitting at the bottom of the Western Conference right now. Valuable. Yeah, LeBron James is valuable to the Cavs, but they don't need him. They could have won with Kyrie. I'm not saying they can win a title. They could win 40 games, 50 games with Kyrie and Love. Yes, most certainly they can. Harden, if he was so valuable, the Rockets wouldn't be struggling like they are. Russell Westbrook's my MVP, and he belongs in the MVP race. The guy's averaging a triple-double. Nobody has done that. He has not recorded a triple-double in 3 straight games. He didn't record a triple-double in 6 straight games in the month of November. But would you look at that? He still averaged a triple-double for the season. I believe the only player to average a triple-double for the season was Oscar Robertson. And I'm not even sure if he did it. Before you start going on telling me about how Westbrook doesn't belong in the MVP race, think about what it means to be valuable. Valuable. It means you are valuable to your team. You are valuable to the league. Russell Westbrook is both. Now, granted, LeBron James will probably win the title again, the MVP title, because he's more valuable to the league when it comes to finances. He's where the money comes from. LeBron James merchandise. LeBron James this, LeBron James that. The league wants LeBron James to win the title. But like I said earlier, LeBron James is not winning a title. Just not happening. So Warren Shaw, founder of ShawSports.net, contributor of 16 Wins a Ring, great site. Go check it out. 16winsaring.com. What a site. Wow. He'll join us at 8 o'clock. Coming up next, though, we're going to get into some football talk. I hate to tell you. I'm sorry, but we are in for a bad, bad Super Bowl in 2018. I hate it. It's not fun, but it's going to happen. That is next. SCU Show.
Hello to all you Arena League football fans out there. I want to personally welcome you to join us, AFL Fan Zone, every Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time for a weekly recap of all things AFL. You got stuff to do on the weekends, which means you probably don't have time to sit down and watch every single game every week. That's where AFL Fan Zone comes in. Not only do we break down the week, but we provide you with everything you need to stay up to date with the AFL, including Players of the Week, Power Rankings, and the weekly standings. Best part is, the recap is fully interactive between the viewers and the host. Just search AFL Fan Zone on YouTube and you can find all of our archived videos, including game previews, recaps, and weekly updates. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and at our website at www.aflfanzone.com. AFL Fan Zone, your internet home for the best AFL fans.
Hi, I'm Donovan James, and welcome to the Don James High School Football Report, everybody, where we discuss and debate the hottest prep and college football recruiting topics in the country every week. Only here on NGSC Sports, 9:30 Eastern. For more, follow me on Twitter at Don James Sports.
It's game time, boys, and we know football. Football the Max is the podcast for you if you want in-depth analysis over the NFL and college football. We preview all the action coming your way over the weekend. And we break down all the big action after it's happened. Plus, we tackle all the big news topics and discuss everything when it comes to the gridiron. So come check out Football to the Max every Tuesday morning and Friday morning on the W2M network.
Are you an arena football fan looking for the latest news involving your team? Inside the Arena has you covered. Check us out for the latest news around both the Arena Football League and the Chinese Arena Football League. Read all of our stellar articles at InsideTheArena.org. Also, follow us on Twitter at Inside_Arena and like us on Facebook at Facebook.com/InsideTheArena.
Welcome back to the SCU Show on SCU. So before the break, I told you we would be talking about the Super Bowl. And it's going to be a bad Super Bowl this year, ladies and gentlemen. Let's start. Let's start with this. Let's start with the 21st century. And we'll go from there. Every Super Bowl that hasn't been Giants-Patriots in the last 12 years. Let's go with that. The last 12 years. That's where I would. You take away Super Bowl 42. You take away Super Bowl 46. Which are both Giants-Patriots Super Bowls. Every even year Super Bowl has been bad Super Bowl. And it all started with Super Bowl 40. Yeah, it was a snooze fest. 44. Snooze fest. 48. Do we even have to go there? The Seahawks won the Super Bowl at halftime. It was 22-0 at halftime. And then they started the game. They started the second half by Percy Harvin returning the secondary kickoff for a touchdown. Snoozeville. Super Bowl 50. Lame. Wasn't close. Denver dominated the 15-1 Carolina Panthers. And then one can make the argument that, the best two teams play in the Super Bowl, though. If that's so, how come each of those games, one of those quote-unquote best teams got their, ripped apart? Or they fell apart. And a big one there is Super Bowl 48. That's the biggie right there. Denver came in there with the highest scoring offense in NFL history. Peyton Manning had thrown 55 touchdowns. in the regular season. That's not counting the postseason. I don't know how much is in the postseason. They came off a great performance. Seattle's defense destroyed them. 5 seconds into the game, it was 2-0. And they never let up. That high-scoring offense, the highest-scoring offense in league history, didn't score a touchdown until there were triple zeros on the clock. In the third quarter, we were going to the final quarter of play before the highest-scoring offense in NFL history scored points. They were being shut out through 3 quarters. Literally, 3 quarters. (15-1) Carolina Panthers. Nobody. I even said on the Football 5 when we first started the Football 5 last year, back last January. I said nobody was beating the Panthers. The Panthers are going to win the Super Bowl easily. Denver's defense ripped them apart. The 2 biggest players on that team, at the time, because nobody really knew the others, were DeMarcus Ware and Keep Talib. Von Miller was just coming up on the stage. People were just getting to know him. Chris Harris just getting to know him. And then we go back to the beginning of the Super Bowl era. Super Bowl, and I'm talking about even year Super Bowls, and we're in for one this year. Even year Super Bowls in the Super Bowl era has just been really bad. 2. Packers beat the Raiders 33-14. I'm shooting some knowledge at you tonight. 4. Chiefs beat the Packers 23-7. 6. Dolphins scored 3 points. 8. Vikings scored 7 points. Okay, 10 was a classic, so we'll skip that one. 12. Cowboys dominated Denver. 14. Steelers dominated the Rams. Skip 16. 18. The Silver and Black dominated the Redskins. The defending Super Bowl champion Redskins, nonetheless. 20. The Bears dominated New England 46-10. 22. Redskins scored 42 consecutive points against John Elway. 42 consecutive points. It was a blow even when the game began because Denver led 10-0. 24. Biggest blowout Super Bowl history, 55-10. The Niners beat the Broncos. 26. Bills are no match for Washington as the Bills lose their second straight Super Bowl. 28. Dallas beats Buffalo. Again. Bills lose 4 in a row. 30. Defense wins championships. Boring game, boring fourth quarter. Makes for a non-memorable Super Bowl. 32 was good. 34 was good. And then you go 34, 36, 38. You're thinking, oh, God, this could lead to a new trend. It turned out the trend ended there. Because after that, Super Bowl, even your Super Bowls became bad again. Oh, but look at you might have listened to the last show, and you're probably telling yourself listening to this now. Oh, but you said that the Patriots could play the Cowboys and Dak Prescott and Zeke Elliott, or Aaron Rodgers, or Russell Wilson, or Eli Manning. Again, I've said a lot of things that I'm wrong about. So if I sat here and told you Super Bowl 452 would be a classic because Tom Brady will play Eli Manning again, I could be wrong. I mean, Tom Brady plays Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott's not being Tom Brady. I'm a Cowboys fan, and I'm saying to you right now that Tom Brady is not losing to Dak Prescott. That is not happening. Tom Brady's not losing. He's not winning a close game against Dak Prescott either. He's blowing Dak Prescott out of the water. Russell Wilson, he's beaten him already. He knows what to put. He knows what to prepare for with that defense. He beat him for 4 touchdowns in 2015. Aaron Rodgers, he's only played him once. Played him close. Rodgers is not a very good playoff quarterback. He's lost several NFC title games. They're not his fault, but he's lost. He's lost a few of them. So you think he could be ready for the Super Bowl against Tom Brady? Think of it this way. Aaron Rodgers went to the Super Bowl against Big Ben Roethlisberger and blew a 21-3 lead. Now, the Steelers don't have the best defense. No. But point being, just forget I just said that. But anyway, it's going to be a bad Super Bowl, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry. Tom Brady's going to dominate whoever he plays. Whether it be Dak, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Eli Manning, or otherwise. Prepare yourselves now, NFL fans. Super Bowl 52 will be ugly. I hate to say it, but that's what's going to happen. As for Falcons fans, like I said a couple weeks ago, Super Bowl hangover. Don't expect to see your team in the back in the game next year. Do not expect it at all. Warren Shaw next, SCU Show.
Hello to all you Arena League football fans out there. I want to personally welcome you to join us, AFL Fan Zone, every Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time for a weekly recap of all things AFL. You got stuff to do on the weekends, which means you probably don't have time to sit down and watch every single game every week. That's where AFL Fan Zone comes in. Not only do we break down the week, but we provide you with everything you need to stay up to date with the AFL, including Players of the Week, Power Rankings, and the weekly standings. Best part is, the recap is fully interactive between the viewers and the host. Just search AFL Fan Zone on YouTube and you can find all of our archived videos, including game previews, recaps, and weekly updates. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and at our website at www.aflfanzone.com. AFL Fan Zone, your internet home for the best AFL fans.
Hi, I'm Donovan James, and welcome to the Don James High School Football Report, everybody, where we discuss and debate the hottest prep and college football recruiting topics in the country every week. Only here on NGSC Sports, 9:30 Eastern. For more, follow me on Twitter at Don James Sports.
It's game time, boys, and we know football. Football to the Max is the podcast for you if you want in-depth analysis over the NFL and college football. We preview all the action coming your way over the weekend. And we break down all the big action after it's happened. Plus, we tackle all the big news topics and discuss everything when it comes to the gridiron. So come check out Football to the Max every Tuesday morning and Friday morning on the W2M network.
Are you an arena football fan looking for the latest news involving your team? Inside the Arena has you covered. Check us out for the latest news around both the Arena Football League and the Chinese Arena Football League. Read all of our stellar articles at InsideTheArena.org. Also, follow us on Twitter at Inside_Arena and like us on Facebook at Facebook.com/InsideTheArena.
All right. Welcome back to the SCU Show. And now joining us is Mr. Warren Shaw, founder of ShawSports.net and contributor to 16 Wins a Ring, which I think is a very impressive new website. They have great things going for them. How are you doing tonight, Mr. Shaw?
I'm doing great, guys. How's everything on your side?
Doing well. So let's start. I want to talk about this because this concerns me. People are saying that with Kevin Durant out, the Warriors, their shot away the title's blown. Like it's not happening now. Kevin Durant is out. How do you feel about that?
I think that's a little misguided. I understand what Durant has been able to do for them offensively and even more so defensively this year, but this is still a team that went to the NBA Finals without Durant 2 years in a row. Yes, there are some changes. No Harrison Barnes or Andrew Bogut, who were critical pieces for them, but this is a team that can still compete with anybody out there in the NBA, and I'm not trying to discredit the San Antonio Spurs. Not trying to discredit what the Houston Rockets have done as well too, but you have to beat them in essence. And I don't know that anybody's done enough that they can beat them even without Durant. And even still, we don't know how long Durant is going to be out just yet. I mean, he could come back right by the playoffs time, and then all this conversation would be moot anyway.
Yeah, so I think that the Warriors will win their second title in 3 years, even without Durant, because, and like I said earlier on my show, February 2015, Kevin Durant breaks his foot. Everyone thinks the Thunder shot was blown. And then they wind up finishing the last team out of the playoffs that year. But moving on from that, Cleveland has this powerful team. I don't think, like they have Kyle Korver now, they have, what's his name, Deron Williams. How do you feel those two fit with the Cavs?
Well, I think Korver has already proven himself, through the acquisition, what happened, I guess 2 months ago now at this point. And he really has been the kind of the elixir, if you will, to kind of stem the tide of J.R. Smith until he returns, which should be sometime this week as well. Darren Williams, I think, is a nice pickup for them because although many people have bagged on Williams in recent years, and his role shouldn't have been a starter who has to play 28 to 32 minutes a night. Like that's not who he is and what he should have been for the teams that he's been playing for recently. Now I'm having to come in and back up a guy like Kyrie Irving. And play 15 minutes a night, if you will, give them some spot minutes. Guy who can shoot the three, great free throw shooter, runs pick and roll to death. Has always been one of the best pick and roll point guards out there. I think this is a great move for the Cleveland Cavaliers to add a guy like that. That's the type of help that they needed. A veteran guy too, who keep the locker room kind of on task, if you will, help LeBron be a leader out there. And I think those two pickups, Korver and Williams, both veteran guys, both guys who can shoot and don't need the ball in essence to be effective, and so LeBron can create for them as well. That's why the Cavaliers continue to make those small, subtle moves that make them so good.
You mentioned that the Warriors could beat the Rockets and the Spurs. I'm going to look at the Cavs side here. They have to go up against Washington, best team in the Eastern Conference since the New Year's. Boston's hot. Miami is very hot. Which of those three teams do you think gives Cleveland a run for the money in the playoffs?
I think if it were to come down to it, it probably is Washington. Listen, I'm one of those teams or one of those guys who really believes that having elite backcourt play is immense in the playoffs. And John Wall and Bradley Beal are an elite backcourt out there, and they got some great help getting Brandon Jennings to come off the bench and Bojan Bogdanovic too to back up Bradley Beal and Otto Porter at the wing position. This Washington team, they defend. They play at a great pace, great offense as well too. And to me, I think they're really one of the better teams in the Eastern Conference. And then if Cleveland was going to bat an eye at anybody, I think it's them. Boston, for me, they have just too many questions. They don't defend well enough. They don't rim protect. They have all these problems rebounding, and they only really have one guy who is going to get it done. And in the playoffs, you can load up on a guy like Isaiah Thomas, and that really worries me and concerns me from the Boston standpoint. Although Miami's been playing very well, I refuse to believe that they could actually threaten Cleveland in a 7-game series when it came to the playoffs. So if you're talking about those three teams, it's the Washington Wizards for me.
Let's say that we're in the end of May, and the Eastern Conference Finals is Cavs Wizards. How many games do you think those two teams play for the finals?
I'm very confident in the Wizards' ability to be competitive in this series, but all things being considered, a healthy Cleveland Cavaliers team with Kevin Love back, J.R. Smith back, Darren Williams in the fold, Kyle Korver in the fold. I think that series still goes 6 games, but I think the Cavs win it, kind of going away, if you will. Washington is a very good basketball team, and I'm not taking anything away from them. But Cleveland at full strength it's right up there as one of the best teams in the NBA and obviously defending champions. So for me, if it were to go down to those two teams, all things considered, everybody being healthy, it's 6 games for the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Oh, you say if they're a healthy squad. Now, not Kevin Love. Kevin Love is out. J.R. Smith is out. If those two do not return this season, do you still think it's a 6-game series with the Cavs and Wizards?
I think it's a 7-game series, but then I think the Cavaliers still get it done. Yeah, I think those two guys make a huge difference for them being healthy, and even their presence alone. So let's say they're not even 100% healthy. If they're out there and able to give them minutes, and especially from Love, rebounding and being somebody to challenge at that power forward position, and given Markieff Morris a guy that he needs to chase around, if you will, for Washington. I will never, as long as I live, bet against LeBron James in the Eastern Conference because he's just that guy. And you cannot a tone or amount for the things that he's done over the course of his career and 6 straight NBA finals or whatever it is at this point right now. I can't see anybody beating him. But even with as long as he has an acceptable running mate, and like I said, like a Kyrie Irving, and then some of those other guys coming back healthy, he's always going to be the favorite to me.
Warren Shaw, founder of ShawSports.net, contributor to 16 Wins a Ring, joins us. I've heard so many people say that Russell Westbrook does not belong in the MVP race. I don't think people realize what the definition of MVP means. It means you're valuable to the team, valuable to the league. Do you feel? I definitely feel Russell Westbrook, despite his struggles the last 3 games, not running a triple-double, he's still in my MVP race. Do you have him in your MVP race?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't understand the conversation and how the narrative continues to turn and change every few weeks, if you will. To start the season, I think everybody was on the Russ bandwagon. Then Harden and the Rockets made a serious push. Then it seemed like there was a little bit of Harden fatigue, if you will. It's like, all right, well, we're kind of tired of talking about that. Then Russ seemed to gain some momentum back, and getting that. And now the Thunder are struggling. Okay, well, Russ maybe not so much anymore. And that doesn't make sense to me. And it would be insanely ironic that in the only 2 years that a guy potentially averages a triple-double, that both years that guy did not win the MVP. And I'm right there with that. But now the conversation, as you said, is alluding to that maybe he's not even an MVP candidate. That doesn't even make any sense at all.
It doesn't.
You can't say that. So he has to be in your top 2 conversation. And, I mean, if you're bumping him down, maybe top 3. But to me, there's no way that he can't be considered for this award and garner a multiple votes, especially from the first place standpoint.
Right. So, who? Just give you said what Russell Westbrook is in your top 3 for MVP. Who else is in that top 3?
It's Harden and it's Kawhi Leonard.
Why? Okay. Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
I think Kawhi's made a serious push and has kind of under the radar as the San Antonio Spurs continue to be. Done everything. And I know I don't know how much you follow basketball Twitter, if you will, and how much reading you do. And so the crazy article at the beginning of the year that the Spurs were actually better defensively without Kawhi Leonard. BS. So
he proved that wrong last night.
Yeah, I mean, that guy, he's single-handedly winning games and saving games for the Spurs. And I'm not being a prisoner of the moment. This Spurs team, they're right there with, chasing Golden State down for that number 1 seed. He did finish second last year in the MVP voting. If you don't remember that or don't realize that as well too. So those are my top 3 guys: Russ, Harden, and Kawhi Leonard. But I will say this: listen, as long as LeBron has breath and is playing in the league, he's always the best player in the NBA. I just think with the special seasons that are going on by those 3 individuals right now, they're probably going to get the lion's share of the votes when it comes to the top half.
Okay, so you would consider LeBron MVP too?
Yeah, of course. He's always an MVP candidate.
Right.
There's any year he's out there and he's drawing breath.
That's
right. He's out there.
All right, so let's end the GOAT composite. Let's end this GOAT talk right now in the NBA. Who do you think is the better player career-wise, LeBron or MJ?
Wow, man. Wow. I grew up in those 90 era and watch a lot of Jordan and I will say this, and I'm going to give you a qualifier, which is going to be a kind of a cop-out, so forgive me. I think Jordan is the best player in the NBA history. I do think LeBron has the best skill set of any NBA player we've ever seen, though. Just what he does on all sides of the basketball floor in terms of being a great passer, his basketball IQ and acumen, if you will, being a rebounder and being a guy who's able to score. I think he has the best skill set of anybody we've ever seen in the league, but I still think Jordan is the best player to ever lace him up.
Okay. I can see where you're coming from. So you can agree with me that pretty much the whole world that the Warriors and Cavs will play in this year's NBA Finals, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Barring anything extremely unforeseen.
Right, yeah.
An ankle or, a slippage, and somebody's sweat like Steph Curry did last year or whatever it is.
Yes, I remember that.
So, I think these are the 2 best teams and everybody loves the trilogy. This is kind of the rubber match. But I do think we will see that fatigue if it's setting up to be that way again next season. Again, we still have to get through this year, if you will. And if all things plays out, I don't think people are going to be anxious to see it a 4th time if it were to happen this year.
All right, so the series is currently tied at one title apiece. Who do you think wins this year, and how many games does it go?
I think we're looking at the full shebang, another 7-game lockout, drag-out series between both of these teams. I think, health being considered, Love back, Durant back, everything like that too, or if both of those guys aren't back, I think it's just one of those things where they know each other so well at this point of of their rivalry, if you will, and they just won it. And when you have superstars of the elite level and whatever it is, I can't even do the math right now. Was it, I guess, 3 of the top 5, and I don't know how far you want to go out to Kyrie and Draymond in terms of maybe 5 of the top 15 players in the NBA all playing in one series, if you will. Like those guys are superstars. Those are elite level players, and they're going to find ways to win basketball games for their teams, respectively. And I think you're just looking at a series it's going to go back and forth, tug of war style, and 7 games. But I would pick the Golden State Warriors to be the NBA champions.
Okay, yeah, I too go with the Golden State Warriors to be champions. Not even just because I want everyone to see how unvaluable Kevin Durant is, because the teams can win without him. Right. I just feel like they're just a better team than Golden State right now. That's just how I feel. So wait,
you think the Cavs will win?
No, I say the Warriors will win because I feel like they have a better team right now.
So you think they could do it without KD?
Yes, I definitely think they could do it without KD.
Let me ask you this real quick then.
Good thing.
If that were to happen, does KD stay? I mean, I know he's already said he probably would, and whatever.
You know what? This reminds me of I know you're probably not an NFL guy, but this reminds me so much of the NFL. Darrelle Revis got his ring with the New England. He was gone. Mm-hmm. I have a feeling that Kevin Durant's going to get his ring. He's going to be gone. And
no matter what.
I have a feeling that might happen. That just might happen.
Wow. But anyway, that would be a hell of a story, right?
Yeah, it would be. It would be, right? But anyway, I've been following you for about a year or so, maybe a couple of years now. And now, before I booked you for this interview, I just realized, whoa, you got the blue check on Twitter. How did that happen?
Just grind, man. You grind, and I mean, Twitter has a nice, service now, if you will, in terms of where I think they went around and verified people, and maybe they thought that was too daunting, so they're allowing people to come to them, and just based on the body of work, worked for multiple people, Yahoo Sports, Dime Magazine, Celtics Life. 16 wins a ring now, and working with NBA Lead, and of course I had the podcast too, NBA Baseline with my homeboy Game Face Lee. Right. They just decided, all right, man, I guess you've put in enough dues, you've interviewed enough players, and we'll go ahead and bless you with this blue check, man. So yeah, I mean, it's it just happened recently this past week. Very fortunate and very happy to be part of basketball Twitter, if you will.
That is pretty cool. Good luck to you. When does the Baseline go? Does he basically go live or anything? When does that
we don't do a live show. We pre-record, but our show comes out basically every Monday, maybe Tuesday, depending on how much editing we need to do. We record pretty much on Sundays typically, so it's a weekly show. And sometimes we do a midweek show if the news warrants it. Sometimes talking about power rankings and power fives and things of that nature as well too. So of course, when the NBA playoffs comes up, everybody's going to be out there. So we're going to have much content to discuss, probably at least be 2 shows a week, but you can definitely follow us on Twitter at NBA Baseline, and make sure you follow my co-host as well at Game Face Lee, man. I appreciate the time.
Yes, Warren Shaw, founder of ShawSports.net. I'm stammering right now. And contributor 16 wins a ring. Thank you so much for coming on the show tonight.
Anytime, man. You have a great night.
Wow. Warren Shaw blew me away right there. First, he didn't have LeBron James in his MVP conversation, not competition. LeBron James he's the most valuable player in the league. And that's what gets you MVP title. So that was shocking to me, but that was great stuff from Warren Shaw. Check him out, NBA Baseline, every Monday or Tuesday night. Follow him on Twitter at ShawSportsNBA. And check him out on 16wingsring.com. No LeBron James though. That is very, very interesting. That is so interesting. How somebody cannot have LeBron James in their thing. I have to find somebody else to have LeBron James in their thing. I need answers now. Why would somebody not want LeBron James? No, not want. You have to want LeBron James in your MVP race. How does one not have LeBron James in their MVP race? How? I've only been watching the NBA since 2015, but I'm pretty sure LeBron James might as well have been in the MVP race back in 2007 when the Spurs swept the Cavs in the finals. Even then, I would assume LeBron got in the MVP talk that year. And every year since, obviously. So in 2010, 2014, he had to win the MVP. 4 straight finals, won 2. Probably should have won 1, but Ray Allen saved him in 2013. Not that I'm hating on it. I mean, that was a good series. That was the best series I've ever seen in basketball. Yeah, I did watch basketball before I started learning about it in 2015. But anyway, that was good. That was awesome. And then he got me there. Warren Shaw, his question to me was very intriguing. He asked me what I think would happen if Kevin Durant left, if Kevin Durant and the Warriors won the title this year. And this brings me back to the first thing I ever talked about on the show, Kevin Durant being weak. That would just startle me so much. Because I've talked about how Darrelle Revis was weak. He only went to New England for the money. Martellus Bennett went to New England, not for the money, for the ring. Darrelle Revis went to New England for the ring, then he was gone. He didn't want to be part of the organization anymore. Martellus Bennett's leaving New England. Yeah, he's a free agent, but he was only there for the ring. He knew he was going to get a ring. Now he wants $9 million a year? Good luck, buddy. You called your team a bunch of female dogs before joining the Patriots. If Kevin Durant leaves after this year, if the Warriors win the title, Kevin Durant will be the biggest snake in NBA history, if you ask me. Himself does not win this title. If Kevin Durant is not even if he is not on the court anytime from April to June, he will definitely be I don't know the word for it, my most disliked player in the NBA. It's like having a friend. Say you're rich, you have a friend. He only likes you for the money. Snake. And I've dealt with so many snakes before. No, I don't think it's going to happen. But Warren Shaw, wow. That was awesome. Thanks again, Warren Shaw, for joining us. Check out the NBA Baseline every Monday and Tuesday. I'm not exactly sure when they air. I guess it's up to them. But you get the point. Beginning of the week. Coming up next, we got some... before Warren came on, we talked about how the Super Bowl is going to be bad. But you know it's not going to be bad? The NFL Draft. Next, SCU Show.
Hello to all you Arena League football fans out there. I want to personally welcome you to join us, AFL Fan Zone, every Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time for a weekly recap of all things AFL. You got stuff to do on the weekends, which means you probably don't have time to sit down and watch every single game every week. That's where AFL Fan Zone comes in. Not only do we break down the week, but we provide you with everything you need to stay up to date with the AFL, including Players of the Week, Power Rankings, and the weekly standings. Best part is, the recap is fully interactive between the viewers and the host. Just search AFL Fan Zone on YouTube and you can find all of our archived videos, including game previews, recaps, and weekly updates. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and at our website at www.aflfanzone.com. AFL Fan Zone, your internet home for the best AFL fans.
Hi, I'm Donovan James, and welcome to the Don James High School Football Report, everybody, where we discuss and debate the hottest prep and college football recruiting topics in the country every week. Only here on NGSC Sports, 9:30 Eastern. For more, follow me on Twitter at Don James Sports.
It's game time, boys, and we know football. Football the Max is the podcast for you if you want in-depth analysis over the NFL and college football. We preview all the action coming your way over the weekend. And we break down all the big action after it's happened. Plus, we tackle all the big news topics and discuss everything when it comes to the gridiron. So come check out Football to the Max every Tuesday morning and Friday morning on the W2M network.
Are you an arena football fan looking for the latest news involving your team? Inside the Arena has you covered. Check us out for the latest news around both the Arena Football League and the Chinese Arena Football League. Read all of our stellar articles at InsideTheArena.org. Also, follow us on Twitter at Inside_Arena and like us on Facebook at Facebook.com/InsideTheArena.
All right, welcome back. So we have had two pretty good drafts. No, I take that back. We've had a few good drafts in recent memory, right? I mean, 2012, 3 quarterbacks in the 2012 draft made the playoffs that year. Andrew Luck, Robert Griffin III. I don't remember the other one. I remember seeing an iPhone Network. There was a third quarterback that made the rookie quarterback that made the playoffs in 2012. 2015, Jameis Winston, Marcus Mariota. 1 and 2. Perfect. Both are still improving, but they were good quarterbacks. They were both very good quarterbacks. This year might be the best. This might be the best draft since 1983. The 1983 NFL draft was stacked with Hall of Fame players and future Hall of Fame players. Dan Marino, I believe Dan Fouts was in that draft too. I'm not too sure about that. No, he wasn't. I'll check on that, but. Dan Marino, John Elway was in that draft. There was just so many good players, Hall of Famers coming out of the draft. Now, me not being that big on the draft, from what I'm seeing, lots of star players coming out of this. Lots of star players coming out. Let me start with the quarterbacks. My favorite quarterback is Patrick Mahomes II out of Texas Tech. All right, here's the list from 1983. First overall pick, John Elway. Second overall pick, Eric Dickerson. Third, the Kurt Warner nobody knows about. Spelled with a C, not a K. Want to be a good running back. Go down the list. 14th overall pick, Jim Kelly. Dan Marino, 27. And then, you get a bunch of good players coming out of this draft. You get the point. But anyway, we go back to my point. Patrick Mahomes II is my favorite quarterback in this draft. Sean Watson's a close second, but Mahomes beats him out. I'm a numbers guy. I look at stats. It's not all I look at, but I look at stats. If you have good stats, I'm gonna be impressed with you. Mahomes threw for 5,000 yards. He scored 57 total touchdowns in 16 games. Wow. In my opinion, he is the number one quarterback in this draft. But other than him, there's Deshaun Watson. Obviously, he was close to being a 2-time champion. Great quarterback at Clemson. He also has a great play style. Running the ball, throwing the ball, he can do it all. Brad Kaya, I've been watching him since 2015. Over 3,000 yards each year. Done it with different coaches. Did with Al Golden. Did with, I don't remember the Miami intern. I'll have to look that up and get back to you. Did it with Mark Richt. It seems like Brad Kaya can make things happen no matter who's coaches. And I'm one that's always saying that the coach makes the team. Brekaya defies that. Josh Dobbs, another great quarterback. He can run the ball. He can throw the ball. Larry Scott. He did under Larry Scott for a couple games in 2015. Josh Dobbs, Pat Mahomes II, Deshaun Watson. Just think all these players. And then you look at the wide receivers. Mike Williams at Clemson. Now, Clemson brings up a lot of great wide receivers. You can ask Sammy Watkins. Corey Davis out of Western Michigan. He's pretty good. John Ross ran a 4.2240 in the combine. Record. Beats UG2K. Cooper Kupp out of Eastern Washington. Stud. Curtis Samuel, Ohio State. Darius Stewart, Alabama. Juju Smith out of USC. Bunch of great receivers, too. Great quarterbacks, great receivers. And then how can you forget the running backs? Dalvin Cook is my favorite running back in the draft this year. The guy reminds me of Zeke so much. He's so much like Zeke. He's small, but he has the speed. Joe Mixon, that's another story for another time. I'm going to get into a little bit of that next week, I think. We'll talk a little bit about that next week. About how Joe Mixon deserves a chance. No doubt, Joe Mixon deserves a chance in the draft. Leonard Fournette, I mean, he's good, but he's not going to be great. He's going to be good. He's not going to be great. He won't be Trent Richardson, but he won't be Zeke. And there's Christian McCaffrey, another stud out of Stanford. Stanford ranks a lot of studs. And then you got defense players, Jonathan Allen. Great guy out of Alabama. Reuben Foster. Myles Garrett is a defensive player. He's going to be the number one overall pick. Like, there's no projection. Oh, I'm going to go back to quarterback for a second. Mitchell Trubisky. How can I forget him? One-hit wonder. I mean, it's possible he could be a one-hit wonder, but what I've seen, pretty good. He did pretty good in his 1 year at North Carolina. Do I think he should be a top 5 pick? No. He played 1 year. We don't know much about him. I want to see him prove himself in the NFL. But going back to the defensive players now, Myles Garrett going to be the number one overall pick. Reuben Foster, Jonathan Allen. This defense, these defensive players in the draft. There's so much of them. There's so much great guys. Derek Barnett at Tennessee. Jalen Tabor, cornerback out of Florida. So just look at all these impressive college players going into the NFL draft this year. We are in for such a great draft. It's going to be amazing. I watched the draft because you always watch the draft, see who's first overall, and then you get those surprise picks. I remember 2015 when the Giants traded the Redskins traded the 5th overall pick to the Giants, and the Giants got Eric Flowers, a tackle. I have never been more surprised than that. Well, that's what you asked for when you watch the draft. You asked for surprises like that. Another thing I'm looking at here in the draft is coin flip. Yeah, what am I talking about? Coin flip. It's a coin flip. It's a coin. So what? Let's look back at the past couple of coin flips in the NFL draft. Cowboys beat the Ravens for the 16th overall pick in 2014. The Cowboys got Zach Martin. He turned out to be pretty well. Dolphins beat out the Panthers for the 8th overall pick 2012. Ryan Tannehill. Falcons won a 3-way tie with, I believe it was Oakland and Seattle. I might be wrong on that. For the 3rd overall pick in the 2008 draft. Matt Ryan. With the talent coming into the draft, especially in the first-round talent, all this first-round talent in the draft, Philadelphia at 14 beat Indy for the 14th pick. They could have something good coming for them. A lot of prospects, a lot of great prospects this year. If I'm the Eagles organization, I'm looking at wide receivers. Mike Williams, Corey Davis, my top 2. That's what the Eagles need. They have a defense. They have the quarterback. They have the running back. They need the receivers. Then and only then can they compete with the Cowboys, the Giants, and the Redskins in the NFC East in 2017. So I'm definitely be watching for that 14th pick. I am definitely going to be looking out for that 14th pick. So excuse me. That 14th pick is going to be an interesting one because whoever the Eagles pick, it's going to be big. You already know it's going to be big now. They'll be looking big in the first round, as every team should be doing. But if they pick a wide receiver, I would be all over that. That will be something. That will definitely be something. So for the next 5 minutes, before I go into the last segment of the show, since March 9th is in 2 days, it's on Thursday, and I don't do a show on Thursdays, let's talk about the free agency. Mike Silver, I believe he works with Sports Illustrated still. I don't even know if he still does that, or he's elsewhere. Said it's more likely than not that Kirk Cousins, he's on his way out of Washington. And what that means now is that Colt McCoy is the guy. Oh, Colt McCoy can't succeed in the NFL. What are you talking? Why are we saying that? Oh, I know why. Because Colt McCoy was drafted by the Cleveland Browns. We are basing Colt McCoy's NFL career off his time with the Browns. You realize how that sounds? That is sad. The Redskins are a contender. They have Deshaun Jackson, even though he might leave too. They still have Jordan Reed. Great tight end. They could always draft another great wide receiver. They could always pick up a running back in free agency. They have Colt McCoy. They're contenders. Any quarterback can compete with a contender because they have the right coaching. They have the right teammates. Basing Colt McCoy's career off of what he did with Cleveland is, I can't even think of the C word to go with it. Convoluted. There you go. basing Colt McCoy's career with Cleveland is convoluted. I'm not saying I hope that Kirk Cousins leaves Washington, because it would be nice to see if he can lead the Redskins to the playoffs. Like, he missed out on the playoffs. He missed out on the playoffs on the last week of the season. Redskins needed to win, and a bunch of teams to lose. The other teams didn't lose, the Redskins didn't get it. And then they lost to the Giants anyway. So you don't think Kirk has a chip on his shoulder. He does. Would that be what? I don't know. It could be with Washington. He could want to be proving that, I can do this. I can go to playoffs with this team. But if he doesn't, Colt McCoy is definitely a starting quarterback in my eyes. I don't see why we get to base his career off of what he did in Cleveland. And then there's this. This is very interesting. Jay Cutler is. Let me pull this up real fast. This is according to Stacey Dales. I presume she works with NFL.com or something. I was told there is no chance Jay Cutler comes back to Chicago. He's either going to be traded or released. Bravo, Chicago. It is about time to get rid of him. Not ripping Jay Cutler or anything, but he's just not a great quarterback anymore. He was a great quarterback in Denver. He comes to Chicago. That's it. Nothing. Now the Bears. There's one thing the Bears must do. 3 words. Chicago, I hope you're listening. Draft Deshaun Watson. Yeah, I said Pat Mahomes was my top quarterback. He's my top quarterback. According to Mike Mayock and all these big draft expert fellas. And I'll be sure to have one on next week to talk some NFL draft. Not next week, next month. Because April's draft month will get big into the draft next month. Maybe we'll have someone on next week. But anyway. Pat Mahomes is my favorite quarterback. But he's probably going to go in the second or third round. Deshaun Watson, outside of Pat Mahomes, best quarterback in the draft. Chicago needs to take him. San Francisco wants Mitchell Trubisky. They can take him. Take Mitchell Trubisky. They're not going anywhere anyway. I don't think that Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch will succeed in their first year. Maybe not their second year either. It could take a couple of years for San Francisco to succeed. But with Chicago, you have immediate playoff contenders. John Fox is your coach. John Fox took Jake Delhomme to the Super Bowl. Jake Delhomme. John Fox coached 2 teams to Super Bowls. Coached Denver to Super Bowl. Yeah, you can make the case that, Peyton Manning's our quarterback. He still coached 2 teams to Super Bowls, both losses, but he made it. And then he coached the Panthers to a number 1 seed in 2008 as well. John Fox is a great coach. His quarterback is keeping him down. Draft Deshaun Watson. Bears are a contender in the NFC North. All they had to do is beat Aaron Rodgers and hope Matt Stafford's bad. Wrapping up the show next, the SCU Show.
Hello to all you Arena League football fans out there. I want to personally welcome you to join us, AFL Fan Zone, every Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time for a weekly recap of all things AFL. You got stuff to do on the weekends, which means you probably don't have time to sit down and watch every single game every week. That's where AFL Fan Zone comes in. Not only do we break down the week, but we provide you with everything you need to stay up to date with the AFL, including Players of the Week, Power Rankings, and the weekly standings. Best part is, the recap is fully interactive between the viewers and the host. Just search AFL Fan Zone on YouTube and you can find all of our archived videos, including game previews, recaps, and weekly updates. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and at our website at www.aflfanzone.com. AFL Fan Zone, your internet home for the best AFL fans.
Hi, I'm Donovan James, and welcome to the Don James High School Football Report, everybody, where we discuss and debate the hottest prep and college football recruiting topics in the country every week. Only here on NGSC Sports, 9:30 Eastern. For more, follow me on Twitter at Don James Sports.
It's game time, boys, and we know football. Football the Max is the podcast for you if you want in-depth analysis over the NFL and college football. We preview all the action coming your way over the weekend. And we break down all the big action after it's happened. Plus, we tackle all the big news topics and discuss everything when it comes to the gridiron. So come check out Football to the Max every Tuesday morning and Friday morning on the W2M network.
Are you an arena football fan looking for the latest news involving your team? Inside the Arena has you covered. Check us out for the latest news around both the Arena Football League and the Chinese Arena Football League. Read all of our stellar articles at InsideTheArena.org. Also, follow us on Twitter at Inside_Arena and like us on Facebook at Facebook.com/InsideTheArena.
All right, welcome back. So, wrap up the show here. About 18 minutes left. We want to talk about the Titans. Now, if you know me, whether it be through social media, like Sean, like my producer Sean, thank you, by the way, for the W2M Network hosting this show and all the other podcasts. You know that I'm a Cowboys fan, big Cowboy guy. So when we talk Titans, it's kind of different. It's a little different. We talking Titans, but I'm a fan of what Titans are doing. Tennessee last season had Marcus Mariota stayed healthy, they could have won the AFC South. They were still in contention in Week 15 for the AFC South title. Now, there's no competition in the AFC South for the Titans. There's not. The biggest competition is Andrew Luck. He has nobody to play. He has nobody with him. It's him. And Frank, I don't even know if Frank Gore's still with the team. I believe he is. And then you got Houston. Oh, let's not even go there. Houston has Brock Osweiler, the quarterback. And that's why, again, I said it last week, I don't think Romo is going to work. Romo will not work with Houston because the Texans paid Brock Osweiler $72 million. They have to start him. They can't sit him on the bench. They're wasting their money. They can't release him. They all still have money. Texans got himself into a big problem, and they're stuck with him. So as long as Brock Osweiler is the quarterback, I don't believe Houston will compete for the AFC South. They did it last year because Tennessee lost their quarterback because Marcus Mariota doesn't have one or two great receivers. I believe that will be their biggest need in the draft is a receiver or two. Yeah, they'll need more. They'll need more defensive guys, help the defense a little bit, but they're also going to need a wide receiver to help Marcus Mariota out. But that's the biggest competition. Indianapolis. And Andrew Luck has no offensive line. So he's not a mobile quarterback either. So when he runs out of the pocket, he's going down. T.Y. Hilton's getting old. He's not the same receiver he was when he started playing for Indy. And let's not get started on the Jaguars, okay? Jacksonville spends more money in the offseason than any other team in the league. Jacksonville also gets more people hyped up than any other team in the league. And then what do? Finish with less than 5 wins, actually. Then at the last 3 years, they finished with less than 5 wins. They drafted a big quarterback. They drafted Blake Bortles out of SUCF. Nothing. Nothing but mediocrity. I might be wrong on this, but Chase Daniel was once their quarterback out of Missouri. What? He had such talent. It looked like he could do nothing but good. Yeah, he didn't do well in Jacksonville. I feel like the Jaguars may be the Browns of the AFC South. They can get all these great players, spend all this money, and they still won't. They'll still finish last in the division. If it weren't for Cleveland, Jackson would be the worst team in the NFL. So there's no competition there with Tennessee. Then there's the Titans' schedule. Titans' schedule looks fairly easy. And I'm pulling it up right now. Titans' schedule. I wrote an article on this for last one on ProFootball.com a while back. Titans are going to win the AFC South in 2017. And there's no doubt about it. Like I said, there's no competition in the South, so they'll already win the division. And the next question is, can they make the playoffs? Well, let's look at their schedule. Who do they play in 2017? Texans, Colts, Jaguars. Given. Baltimore. Joe Flacco has no receivers. He has no defense. The defense is so they're very banged up. The Baltimore defense is very banged up, and Joe Flacco has no receivers. Cincinnati, mediocre. AJ Green, there's nobody. Unless Tyler Eifert comes back healthy, which I don't know if he will. Seattle could be a challenge, but they can keep up. Tennessee will be able to keep up. The Rams, with Jared Goff as center, not happening. Titans will beat the Rams easily. Arizona, more likely than not, that Carson Palmer is going to be the same crap quarterback he was in 2016. Cleveland? I'm not even going to go there. It's Cleveland. Come on. Pittsburgh could be a challenge. They could beat San Francisco. And then New England. They can't beat New England. They also play a team in the AFC West. The winner of the AFC last year was the Oakland Raiders, so they'll play the Raiders. Great matchup. That's going to be a great matchup. Marcus Mariota against Derek Carr. That could go either way. But anyway, the Titans will win the division in 2017 because there's no competition. Brock Osweiler, Andrew Luck is not the same quarterback who was there. His first 3 years. When he took... In Andrew Luck's first 3 years, wild card, divisional round, championship game. After that, spleen, kept him out most of 2015. No playoffs in 2016. Mark Osweiler is not helping Houston win the division. And the Jaguars are the Jaguars. Now, as far as the playoffs go, I think the Titans can make the playoffs. They'll probably play Miami. I feel like Miami could do great things again in 2017. And I feel like they could beat the Dolphins. I feel like the Titans could host a wildcard game against Miami, win in Miami, and then that's it. They'll probably lose in the division round, but hey, they won the division. What that means, all that means is that they're moving up in the world. In the NFL world, they're moving up. Give it a couple of years, the Titans will be the third best team in the AFC, maybe the fourth best team. Pittsburgh decides to improve a little bit. But for 2017, Titans, they're going to win the division. I'm telling you right now. The Tennessee Titans will win their division in 2017. There's no going back on that. Warren Shaw, founder of ShawSports.net, contributor 16 Wins a Ring, formerly of Yahoo Sports and Dime Magazine. He was just fired today. I was fired today. I'd like to believe I was fired today. We didn't get to do our live show today, but you are listening to the podcast right now. Thank you for listening. And yeah, that'll do it here for the SCU show. I'm SCU. Until next week. See ya.
The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.